my name is Isabella Green. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to sit here with you and have a casual conversation about the importance of keeping our frequency high at this time and also how to do that. And I decided to sit outside to bring you the sense of peace. The sense of peace that is so needed at this time, with the sounds of birds and maybe bees flying by, and just the soothing feeling of being outside in nature. There's a great state of unrest happening in the world. We're all aware of that. And for us as light workers, it is incredibly important at this time to pay attention to our own state of being and to elevate our own frequency in the best way we can, so that we can be the force, the ground crew to support those who are in need, and also to support the consciousness and the frequency, the vibration on this planet overall. I'm not even going to go into the whole thing that what we're experiencing is the result of mass consciousness. Everyone who knows how reality works understands that now. And so the masses are not necessarily contributing the high vibration at this time. And it's understandable because of the information that is coming at people from all directions. I myself noticed that at the beginning of the tragic situation that's happening over in Eastern Europe, I decided to get informed, and I decided to watch different sources of news. And so I watched 4 different sources of news from 4 different corners of the world, and I tell you, that had my head spinning instantly. And I also noticed that my reality started coming apart because we are the ones holding our own bubble, if you wish. We're the ones holding our own reality, which is in direct correlation with our own frequency, with our own state of being. My reality started coming apart. Even my body developed physical pains in the areas where I normally don't have any pains at all. And I thought, hey, I'm immune by now, but nah, you know what? They're really good. They are very good at that game that is going on. I'm not saying that the events are false. The events are actually taking place. We know that, and we send the heartfelt support to everyone who is in the war zone right now. But the narrative, every narrative might as well be from a different planet. We're the empathic beings here. I'm speaking to light workers now directly. So not only we're influenced by what is being said, but even when we're not listening to what is being said, what the mass media is presenting, we still feel what the rest of the population feels. We still absorb the low vibes from all around us. And so our responsibility, not only to ourselves, our worlds, our reality, our families, and also those who come to us as clients, those who come to us for support and help and healing work, our responsibility is to keep ourselves in the best shape we can achieve, neutral, ideally, where we are able to know all different sources of information, know all different alternative ideas, know all different perspectives, but not attach and not bite into any of these, not to create any specific agenda in our own minds. My understanding is that the agenda of the media at this time, in parallel with many, many other underground things that are happening there, is to discombobble those who they didn't get through the pandemic situation. They didn't quite get all of us during the last 2 years, but the situation in the Eastern Europe and all of the forecasts and predictions screaming about the end of the world and the Third World War, that got a lot of people wobbling in their state of mind, in their vibration. And so pay attention to how you feel. It is very important to remember that the matrix has its plan and that we cannot buy into that plan and become or join the masses, the unawakened ones. So we have to be extra strong at this time. And now I would like to go into the practices, perhaps give you a reminder of the practices that help me and I recommend for you. Quite a few people that I know as awakened people reached out to me recently because they said, they didn't realize, they didn't notice how they dropped the ball and the matrix sucked them in, just like that. And so we have to keep ourselves in check. Happened to me for 2 seconds as well. So here we are. Of course, I always promote meditating in the middle of the night. If you have ever considered to start meditating in the middle of the night, now is the time to do it. Why I recommend in the middle of the night versus daytime or morning meditations. Mind you, if you're not meditating at all, now is the time to start. Any time is good. But if you are a meditator during the day, during the morning, I would recommend for you to experiment with it and to see how it works for you when you meditate in the middle of the night. I find that when I meditate in the middle of the night, it is easier to connect to the stream of higher consciousness. And then you return into your day as a clean slate. You meditate in the middle of the night and sleep after that for a little bit. You wake up the next morning and it is the new beginning. So every day starts anew and you're not carrying any of the baggage, any of the heaviness from the present day into the next day when you meditate in the middle of the night. You also develop your own news channel. Sometimes I even forget about that, but you do develop your own news channel when you meditate in the middle of the night. We have access to information and you can download your answers. You can receive what you want to know through the nighttime meditation. Additionally, as many of us are aware that the dark forces on the planet tend to pump the negative vibe up in the middle of the night. A lot goes on in the middle of the night. You might have noticed throughout the course of your reality that if you forget to log off your computer or shut down your phone at night, it comes on magically all by itself around 3, 4 a.m. and things are just going on there. They say that they're doing the upgrades during that time, but people who are tuned in and they recognize what's going on, they can feel what's going on, they know that the energy, the low vibe is pumped into our consciousness while we're asleep. So when you're up at that time and you're receiving the higher frequency, you're connecting yourself to that beautiful frequency in the middle of the night, you're counteracting that. You're counteracting that for yourself, but also for the rest of the world, as well as we contribute our energy to mass consciousness quite a bit. And the stronger you are, the more you contribute to mass consciousness. So very important. One thing to do before you go to sleep, regardless of whether you're going to meditate or not, is turn off your electronics. This is very important. If you're able to, if you're in your own home, unplug your internet, unplug your router so that you can have the peace, or at least relative peace, within your own living environment. This is very important for your rest, your well-being, and so that you're not absorbing what's being pumped into our energies through the night. Doing breath work daily is very important. Find some intense breath work that would oxygenate your brain, bring your and invigorate your state of being. Perhaps shake off some filters. Just check what works for you, because breath work every day assists you to maintain your vibration high. Move the body. It is very important to work out or exercise or walk or dance or have some sort of movement of the body every single day. Moving the body gives you a different voltage. It literally elevates the voltage in your body. Everything's circulating in your body better and gets your heart pumping. It is important to move the body every single day. That contributes to your well-being. If you're able to have a full workout, that is excellent. If you are not, find a way to dance or jog or whatever works for you is also very important to maintain your state of being. And you will notice that if you start in your workout and you kind of blah, by the time you're done, you will feel better and your body will feel way better as well. If you haven't yet, now is the time to change the diet. Pay attention to what you eat. We cannot afford to consume any low-frequency substance that's called food nowadays. Anything that drops your vibe. We have enough stuff coming in to drop our vibe from all around us, so we have to pay attention to what it is that we consume. Alcohol is an absolute no-no, because that's such a downer. That pulls your frequency down instantly. If you notice that when you have alcohol, your frequency, you get happy, that means your frequency is lower than the frequency of alcohol. Not good news at all. So alcohol or sugar or processed foods, canned foods, this is 101 of changing your diet. And also, if you have been considering becoming vegan or vegetarian, I do not necessarily promote, I'm not the vegan Nazi, as they say, or vegetarian activist, but at this time, consider this, that the living beings that suffered throughout their lives and suffered through inhumane treatment and inhumane death, so that human beings can have some sort of food, can have their burger. You're absorbing, because when the animals go through this, they're producing a certain type of chemistry in their body. So you're absorbing that when you eat, and also the energy of that food is very low. And we have enough suffering. We have enough low energy right now. So pay attention. If you're still eating the beings who give their lives so that the humans could be sustained, at least pay attention that the meats that you consume are humanely raised and humanely processed, so that would be a little better than consuming the conventional sources. Connect to nature. Nature supports and loves you unconditionally. Observe what's happening around you. Springtime, birds, everything is waking up. The life goes on regardless of what the news is screaming about. The life goes on. Look at these little buds on the trees, the little flowers coming in. Spring is here. The new cycle is here. Earth continues the life, and nature continues to show us and also hold us in great love and space. Receive the energy of unconditional love that this planet gives us. Do what makes you happy. This is very important in this time. A lot of people might feel the sense of guilt. How can I do things that make me happy when the world is in such disarray? This doesn't mean that you disregard what's going on, that you're not respectful and you're not supportive and you're not caring. We have a very distorted idea of caring in our reality. Caring in our reality is equated to falling apart with the ones we care about. Notice that if someone is crying and someone is in distress, they want you to cry with them, and they think that in that way you're showing that you care. The truth is, if you cry with them, you fall apart with them, who is going to lift them up? Who is going to be the strong ones next to them to hold them and to comfort them? You are the one who is going to need that holding and comforting and that support if you allow yourself to fall apart in a way that is expected of those who care. I suggest that at this time we're learning a very new way to care. The new way to care is to be in the neutral, peaceful state of being. In that way, you can receive and embrace and support the ones who are falling apart and bring them the love and the kindness and the energy of that understanding and that kindness that they're seeking. Reconsider, think about this, reconsider the idea about what it really means to care. So, do things that bring you joy. For example, I purchased the water feature some time ago, and I never could get to it. And during these days when I wobbled, when I realized that, I'm letting my reality kind of come apart a little bit here, I started thinking about what can I do to uplift my environment in my home. And I remembered, I have this water feature. So I set it up, and it's beautiful. It brings this beautiful sound of running water, the soothing, comforting sound into my environment. I can hear it. It echoes throughout the entire home, and it just brings such great sense of peace and joy. And so consider that it's all right to do something that makes you feel good within your own environment. You're not guilty. There's no shame in doing that, because you are holding yourself in a space where you are capable and functional for others. At this time, it is exceptionally important to pay attention to what kind of music you're listening to. Are you listening to something that makes you sad and cry? And there is majority of our conventional music is that, the heartbreak, the pain, or anger, and we have enough of that going on all around. It is important to find the sources of music, because music influences you in every pore and every fiber of your being. So find in the music that brings you peace, that soothes you, that uplifts you. Music makes a great difference. I recommend having the high vibrational music, maybe some high frequency tones playing in the background in your home that will create a very peaceful and also very protected environment within your home. There is a great channel on YouTube that is called Meditative Mind. Check out that channel. They have really long pieces of music available for free on YouTube, or 432 hertz or 528 hertz or what have you. They're just beautiful, and I often play them in the background, so that echoes through my house. I have my own sacred space within my own environment. Seek out alternative sources of information. I cannot emphasize this more, because when I decided to watch the news from 4 different sources in the world, I noticed that every source told their own story that has to do with their own perspective and their own agenda. And as far as we know, neither is true. So there are bright minds in our awakened community who receive and deliver information of what is truly happening. Of course, I'm not going to push any opinion upon you. You are the ones to make your own opinion about what's going on and why and what's happening in the world truly. But know the following, that there are many layers to reality. And what you believe, what you subscribe to, connects you to different timelines. There is a big split happening in the Earth reality. We have the new Earth versus the old Earth, and there are parallel multiple timelines happening simultaneously. What you passionately believe into is going to generate your own reality. It connects you to a specific timeline. Choose what it is that you want to experience and that you want to connect to. Remember that our beliefs generate our reality. Our alignment, our inner state of being generates our experiences that come back to us as if happening all by themselves. But there is no coincidence in anything. This is the law of the universe. What we put out, we get back. What we experience internally, we receive as a mirror reflection from the outer reality. This is exceptionally important to remember at this time. And then finally, share the kindness. The world is in dire need of kindness at this time. We got torn apart during the pandemic. We got even more torn apart since the end of February. It is of the highest importance for us to remember the inner kindness that we have in our own hearts and to bring it into the world. Be kind. Bring in a random acts of kindness to strangers. Give your kindness to your loved ones. Give the kindness to the ones who have a different opinion, a different idea. Make sure that you're not engaging in arguing, because that does not assist anything. It only ruins your day. It only ruins your vibration. It also feeds the dark energy on this planet. We as the human race need to stop being at each other's throats. Random acts of kindness, and kindness towards the ones who are confused, kindness towards the ones who are not on the same page as you. Sometimes it does not matter what they believe. Sometimes it is better to stay quiet rather than scream about our opinion of what we know, what we believe, for the sake of preserving the peace, for the sake of preserving your own state of being and the state of being of another. When we are in conflict with each other, we damage not only their energy field but also ours. We create the situations that are terrible for everyone. This does not solve any problem. This does not assist anyone. It only feeds the darkness. It only feeds what the matrix wants us to feed. So refrain from the arguments with the ones who are not on the same page as yourself. Share the kindness. Receive them from the perspective of neutral heart. And you will observe that the acts of kindness are returned to you in the most unexpected ways. Very often we expect that if we're kind to this person, that same person will be kind back to us. But somehow that does not always happen. But what happens is in my observation that the kindness accumulates, and then big moments of kindness come into your experience from completely random sources, from complete strangers, or at the moments when you need that the most. And I see this over and over again, and I cannot share more with you how beautiful this whole system is. This is the system of a reality on this planet. What you put out, you get back, not always from the same source, but always in some way, one way or another. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope this gives you the sense of peace. Remember that peace is within you. You are the one responsible for going in, finding it, pulling it into your vibration, bringing that force into the world, sharing it with those who are around you, regardless of who they are, where they were born, what they think, and what they choose to act like. This is our service to the world. This is our mission on this planet. We trained for this time. This time was predicted. We wanted to incarnate during this time right now so that we can be hands-on in assisting the evolution of consciousness, which is very much happening regardless of what the news tell us. We are the ground crew of the Earth plane, the Project Earth, the Project Ascension, and we are here carrying that responsibility all the way through. Thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate you following me, and I will see you next time. Take care now. Namaste.